Good evening. We've returned to the story of Caius, finest spell sword, Dunmer, eternal champion, courier, magician in the Mages Guild, and currently passing the time in between activities. We need to be going back to the Mages Guild to protect the broadsword, but that's going to be from midnight to 3. It's currently 3 in the afternoon. So what we'll be doing is we'll be heading out of the city limits. We'll do that for a couple of hours. See if there's anything else that can, that can happen, basically. It would be nice to do some other tasks, but one of the challenges that we run into there is he'll probably ask us to go to another city and we won't be able to do this main task, so we'll move on. We'll see if there's anything we can do outside the town. And if not, we'll just head back. As always, we can also read the books in our inventory. That will help the encumbrance. It's a little early to start with that. I am intrigued by these doors here. We'll move out until we're out of the city limits. Then we'll see if there's any dungeons or anything else nearby. So apparently the best we can hope for is north. There probably won't be that much for us, but let's see what there is anyway. Of course, there's nothing to say that there couldn't be something that emerges while we travel west. Obviously, that's not a comprehensive map. It looks like I'm back in Daggerfall. I want to be fairly careful about exactly where I'm heading, because I do need to find my way back to Daggerfall on time. Realistically, I should only travel about 3 or 4 hours in game time. But this will also be an interesting experiment in terms of how the travel works. So for instance, we can already go west, and apparently we'll find a town. And this is a little dangerous because of course now I'm upsetting my pattern. Let's see what we've got here. Ah, yes, everyone doesn't like me. Not really that much here, so let's So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go directly northwest. We'll see if we run into anything. And if we don't, we'll just head straight back. There's something very nice about being able to go over the entire map. But then the big challenge is, if there isn't really that much to see, one might question the utility of such a feature. For instance, if this was to be my experience from going from town to town, it's not entirely clear why this is any better than just doing fast travel. Also, apparently there are no more trees. There are in the background, just not here. We're really trying to get some activity going here. No bandits or demons, nymphs, werewolves, vampire. Well, I guess vampires wouldn't be out at this time. I might be able to make better time if I didn't go by the cart, but it's kind of nice to go slow on the way out so that I can go fast on the way back. stranger, I'm not walking this. I am curious where we've wound up, though. Apparently there's a town to our left. Nary a dungeon in sight, though. Looks like we're loading something. Bergcester. I suspect nobody will talk with me, but well, that's always a welcome sign.
This well-to-do merchant here in Bergcester has sent me a challenge. I guess the word has gone out that I've ruined the honor of his lover, Elara Gerwing. Not that most of Daggerfall hasn't been with old Elara Gerwing first. Basically, I need someone like you to impersonate me in a duel. Would 690 gold pieces interest you in this?
Sure, why not?
Good show, guys. Bring this reply to Peroyan Ashing. You'll find him over in the Lucky Cat. I expect you to be back in 5 days, victorious for your just reward.
It's not like the people in this town love me anyway. I'm gonna guess none of you people will tell me where the Lucky Cat is. Yeah, of course not. Oh, there we go.
If you're Ulster Masterford by the Northern Sea, I'll meet you over at the Hearthwing residence. Let me just get into my spell sword clothes. Bye!
He's totally hiring someone. So because people won't tell me where it is, uh-oh. This is gonna make it hard to find. Can you tell me where I can find Perorian? Somewhere south, okay. Oh, God. Yes, Hearthwing residence. Oh, bit of a walk south. All right, then. Yeah, this isn't too encouraging, to be honest. This is gonna be tricky because apparently it keeps telling me Like, it doesn't give me the option to find the residence, just the lucky cat, except in certain circumstances. Never mind. Nice place you got here. I don't want another lucky cat. Bingo.
You're in the Hearthwing residence, where Perorian Ashling said he would meet you.
I'm bad at this.
In the guise of Uthsir Masterford, you have slain a spell sword in the guise of Piran Ashing. You have merely to return to your employer, and the honor is restored.
I am shocked to find out the man did not do the duel himself. Apparently there's nothing to loot here, though. Go to hell. Back off. How do they know? Alright, now I need to find the essentially... Oh, there we go.
Honor is restored, eh? My fine dark elf. Here's your 690 gold pieces. Now I should go visit my dear Arla Gerring and tell her of the ordeal, with certain alterations of the facts, of course.
I'm sure this did not improve my reputation in Daggerfall. Alright, let's head back to... Let's head back to Daggerfall. Daggerfall, the capital, of course. Hopefully this will be a shorter journey than the way there. I also think because I want to try and improve my reputation in Daggerfall, I might want to start talking to each of the merchants that I go to. It'll mean that I'm not able to do activities for the Mages Guild, but I think that's a trade-off I'm willing to take. I also hope I don't wind up exhausted before my shift. We got there the old-fashioned way. Sorry, we left the old-fashioned way. We'll get there the old-fashioned way. east now, just based on what the map is telling me. Oh, we'll probably hit it now. There we go. Well then. Oh, that's right. The gates will probably be closed. I didn't think of that. Yeah, we still have like 4 hours. I think maybe I'll go to the Fighters Guild. I'll get some rest for a couple of hours, and then we'll head up to the... We'll head back to the Mages Guild.
Shop is laid out in a practical and straightforward manner. All the items seem to be of adequate construction.
Alright, what am I looking at here? I wanted to make it 3 hours, but let's do 2 for safety.
Just because you're also in the Fighters Guild doesn't mean I have to help you. I've heard of you, Caius. As a fellow member of the Fighters Guild, I am embarrassed to be seen with you.
Well,
Incense and soft music soothe your nerves as you cross the threshold. Each item in this shop is carefully mounted and displayed. Not the slightest defect can be detected on any item within.
Just looking for any odd jobs. I should see if I can read some of these at some point. Alright, what are we looking at? Yeah, we still have some time, so... We found this on the, we found this on our target.
Special flora of Tamriel. Poppies, both black and white, can be found growing wild in the mountains of Hammerfell. Their succulent pods are often the only nourishment of adventurers who find themselves in the wilderness without rations. It is said that the black and white poppies together have magical properties. When they are crushed and mixed with milk of the agile-footed mountain goat, a potion that allows the user to glide safely above the ground can be made. Fire Fern, a perennial herb native to Morrowind. The flowers are inconspicuous and often hidden. The glossy evergreen foliage and flowers are resistant to the conditions of high heat and bright light. A petal from this plant, placed under an adventurer's tongue, will provide protection from heat and fire found in the lava pits and streams around Dagoth-Ur. Dragon's tongue, a common name for a fern-like herb found in Black Marsh. It is especially prolific around the area of Uthras Swamp. It is a beautiful wildflower. Its name comes from the fire-red fronds that protect its golden flower. As pretty as it is a deadly poison to most living beings and needs to be avoided by adventurers. It is said, however, that Argonians can pick the plant and use the sap derived from its roots as an enhancement to their endurance. Domica redwort is an herb grown from many residents of Valenwood for their beautiful and showy flowers. They attain a height of about 3 feet and have feathery leaves. The flowers are usually bright red. In addition to their beauty, they are said to have magical abilities to enhance the appearance of anyone who carries or wears one of the flowers. Ironwood nut. This rare nut comes from the ironwood trees which grow deep in the forests of Skyrim. The wood from these trees is as hard as metal for which they are as the metal for which they are named. The very rare black ironwood tree is said to produce a nut which is very succulent and believed to enhance the strength of the adventurer who is able to crack its shell. The ginkgo leaves, which are found among the banks of the rivers and lakes in Hammerfell, are the most inconspicuous. Only its peculiar half-moon shape makes it noticeable. It is very sweet and tasty. Legend has it that when mixed properly with the pulp of an aloe plant, the potion has the ability to increase one's stamina for a short while. Lasamnilis fern can be found in the swamps of Black Marsh. The fronds from this plant are light green and quite delicate. Picking a frond can be very difficult, but once retrieved, it can be used to put an enemy to sleep for a short while by passing it under his nose. Arrowroot is a thick rubbery tuber which can be found in the province of Valenwood. The plant is very difficult to find as its above-ground foliage is very meager and scrawny, but the arrowwood itself can be most beneficial to the gatherer as it has magical properties. The paste made from grinding the root is very tasty and can improve the user's accuracy with a bow and arrow. Nightshade is reputed to be a very poisonous herb. However, the variety found in many parts of Elsewhere is cherished by the Khajiits who have followed the career path of thievery. Many Khajiits will tuck a piece of nightshade inside their armor to increase their abilities to skulk, hide, and become invisible.
So ends our study of foliage.
Mysticism, the unfathomable voyage. Mysticism is the school of magic least understood by the magical community, most difficult to explain to novice mages. The spell effects commonly ascribed to the school of mysticism are wildly disparate, as soul trap, the creation for a self or a victim's spirit after death, to silence, the extinction of sound. But these effects are simply that, effects. The sorcery behind them is veiled in a mystery that may go back to the oldest civilizations of Tamriel and beyond. The psychics of the Order of Artaeum's term for mysticism is the Old Way. The phrase becomes bogged in a semantic quagmire because the Old Way also refers to the religion and customs of the psychics, which may or may not be part of the magic of mysticism. There are few mages who devote their lives to the study of mysticism. The other schools are far more predictable and fathomable. Mysticism seems to derive its power from its conundrums and paradoxes. The act of experimentation, no matter how objectively implemented, can influence the magicka by its very existence. Thus, the mystic mage must regulate himself to finding consistent patterns in an imbroglio of energy. In the time that it takes him to find a source of consistent trigger and result, his peers researching other schools may have researched and documented dozens of new spells and effects. The mystic mage is a patient and uncompetitive scholar. For centuries, mostly during the Second Era, scholarly journals published theory after theory about the aspects of magicka that we call mysticism. In the tradition of the Mages Guild, to find answers to all things, respected researchers suggested the energy source is coming from Aetherius or Daedra themselves to explain the seemingly random patterns of mysticism. Some ventured to guess that mysticism comes from unused elements of successfully or unsuccessfully cast spells. Discussion with the Order of Artaeum after its reappearance has led some scholars to postulate that mysticism is more spiritual in nature. Neither the intellect nor emotion of the believer influences the energy pattern or the flow. None of these explanations are truly satisfactory. For the beginning student of mysticism, it is best to simply learn the patterns distinguished in the maelstrom in the centuries past. The more patterns are found, the clearer the remaining ones become, until of course they change, and then the journey begins anew.
I rather wish it didn't reset the view.
The Healer's Tale. For over 20 years, I have been a healer at the Temple of Stendarr. As the reader is doubtless aware, we are the only temple in Iliac Bay that offers wound healing and illness curing, both for the faithful and the heathen alike, for Stendarr is the god of mercy. I have faced people at their most miserable and their most terrified. I have seen brave knights weep and strong peasants scream. I like to think that I've watched the masks drop from faces and seen people as they truly are. A healer's job, after all, is more than simply binding wounds and stopping flows of poison and disease. We are counselors and comforters, and those who have given up all hope. Sometimes it seems like our kind words and sympathy do more than for our patients than our spells. I am reminded of a very sick young man who came to the temple, suffering from a variety of maladies. Once I had given him an examination, I told him the results. Careful not to alarm him. I let him decide how he wanted to be told the news. I have some good news and some bad news, my child, I said. I better hear the bad news first, he said. Well, I said, gripping his shoulder in case he should faint. The bad news is that unless I am wrong, you will be stricken even more over the next day or two, and unless Stendarr chooses to be merciful to you, you will pass from this existence. I am sorry, my child. As soft as the blow was, it stung nonetheless. The boy was, after all, very young. He thought that he had his whole life ahead of him. Tears streaming down his face, he asked, "And what is the good news?" I smiled. "When you came in, did you notice our proselytizer? She was the enchanting, voluptuous blonde in the antechamber by the foyer." Color returned to the young man's face. He had noticed her indeed. "Yes?" "I'm sleeping with her," I said. If more of the healers of Tamriel would consider their patients' feelings, not just the quickest way to heal them up and get them out, we would have a far, far healthier society. I truly believe that. Rude Song. In the spring of our year doth propriety disappear. In the courts and the ports of the bay, drinking new beer, everyone feels queer, and the earls and churls go astray. The bee and the bird don't have to tell us a word. Our bodies for naughties are prime. If you haven't heard, you can let yourself be lured for the youth, for things uncouth. It is time. Oh, it's lovely to sit in a field, harvested into rows. It's lovelier still to do the same, not wearing any clothes. Jesus. People of the bay bless the flowered court of Wayrest for showing us the gentle way of sin. The bonny dark elf queen likes to see and be seen with cobblers, thieves, and tavern keepers, and slaves and fishermen. In the court of Lanyon, right upon the mainland with sex, the whole place is in the whirl. The Baroness likes to play with men who come her way, while the Baron likes little boys and girls. Oh, it's lovely to give your lady a kiss upon her nose. It's lovelier still to do the same when not wearing any clothes. In Daggerfall, they hold a ball, and all of society indulges in a variety of scandal they can handle a lot. The captain of the guard has a bean that the queen has in her pants, and the court sorceress will grant you a wish to cause the king to fling about his lads. Oh, it's lovely to give your love to a single perfect rose. It's lovelier still to do the same, not wearing any clothes. Oh, it's lovely to abandon all your cares and fears and woes. It's lovelier still to do the same, not wearing any clothes. Yes, sir, it's lovely not to wear any clothes. I am not going to sing any of these, by the way.
Alright, we only have one more book, so we'll finish our stack and then we will begin our vigil.
Jokes. How is your wife? Asks Zalithar. She's in bed with laryngitis, replied Harleth. Is that Argonian bastard back in town again? I keep seeing spots before my eyes. Have you seen a healer? No, just spots. A big Nord named Julgen was sent by a gang of thieves. He fought them furiously, was set on by a gang of thieves. He fought them furiously, but in the end they beat him into semi-consciousness. They searched his pockets and discovered that he only had 3 gold pieces on him. Do you mean to tell us that we fought like mad loop for those 3 lousy gold pieces? Sneered one of the thieves. No, answered Julgen. I was afraid that you were after the 400 gold pieces in my boot. During the War of Bettany, the Bretons in the Isle of Craghold were under siege for several days. After the island was liberated, Lord Britwell found the ruins of the castle where a crowd of survivors were hidden away in the dark. It was going to be a difficult job freeing them, as part of the roof had collapsed, trapping them all within. Bridwell struck his head in the only opening and shouted to the Bretons below, "Are there any expectant mothers down there?" "It's hard to say, your lordship," says a young woman. "We've only been down here a few days." An elderly Breton met with a contemporary of his at a guild meeting. "Harrison, old man, I wanted to express my sympathy. I hear that you buried your wife last week." "Had to, old boy," replied Harrison. "Dead, you know." Why was the Sentinel army so useless during the War of Bettany? The cannons were too heavy, so all 3 garbage scows sunk. What does a new Sentinel private learn first as a combat technique? How to retreat. What is the thinnest book in the world? Redguard Heroes of the War of Bettany. A dark elf man killed his wife after catching her making love with another man. When the magistrate asked him why he killed her instead of her lover, the man replied, "I considered it better to kill one woman than a different man every week." A dark elf woman was being shown around the streets of Daggerfall. When she was shown the magnificent castle Daggerfall, she smiled sweetly to her guide and asked, "It reminds me of sex." "That's odd," said her guide. Why does our castle Daggerfall remind you of sex?" The dark elf sighed. "Everything does." Yelithat told Vashat that she was having dinner with a dark elf named Morleth last night. "I hear he's an animal," said Vasiath. "He'll rip your dress right off you." "Thank you for telling me," said Yelithath. "I'll be sure to wear an old dress." How do separate sailors in the How do separate sailors in the I think, how do they separate sailors in the Khajiit Navy? With a hammer and tongs. This orchard has sentimental value to me, said Moad, the Khajiit, to his friend Haslid. Under that tree, for example, is where I first made love, and that tree is where her mother stood, watching us. She watched you while you made love to her daughter, said Halasid, clearly impressed. Didn't she say anything? Meow. What do you call a wood elf who doesn't lie or cheat or steal? A dead wood elf. So ends the dubious collection of dope jokes.
We will begin the serials after my vigilance.
Look here, boys, a guard. Gee, I'm all scared and shaking. Let's leave the tongue on the door as a warning not to mess with the Thieves Guild. Get him!
That was easy. Gotta wait a couple of minutes. So holidays will be interesting. Possibly on Oblivion.
On Oblivion. It is improper, though common, to refer to the denizens of the dimension of Oblivion as demons. This practice probably dates back to the Alessian doctrines of the prophet Marku, which, rather amusingly, forbade traffic with daimons, and then neglected to explain what demons are. It is most probable that daimon is a misspelling of Daedra, the old elvish word for strange, powerful creatures of uncertain motivation who come from the dimension of Oblivion. In later tractates by King Hael the Pious of Skyrim, almost 1,000 years after the publication of the original doctrines, the evil of his political enemies is compared to the wickedness of the demons of Oblivion. Their depravity equals that of Sanguine itself. They are as cruel as Boethia, calculating as Molag Bal. I'll have to find... Calculating as Molag Bal and as mad as Shegarath. Hael the Pious long-windedly introduced the four Daedra lords into written record. The written record is not, after all, the best way to research Oblivion and the Daedra that inhabit it. Those who, in the words of the Alessian doctrine, traffic with daemons seldom wish it to be a matter of public record. Nevertheless, scattered throughout the literature of the First Era are diaries, journals, notices for witch burnings, and guides for Daedra slayers, which contain only a few contradictions. These I have used as my primary source material. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything. They are at least as trustworthy as the Daedra lords. I have actually summoned and spoken with at length. Apparently Oblivion is a place composed of many lands, thus the many names for which Oblivion is synonymous: Cold Harbor, Quagmire, Moonshadow, etc. It may be correctly supposed that each land of Oblivion is ruled over by one prince. The Daedra princes, whose names appear over and over in ancient records, though this is not an infallible test of their authenticity or explicit existence to be sure, are the aforementioned Sanguine, Boethia, Molag Bal, Shegarath, and in addition Azura, Melphala, Clavicus Vile, Vernemia, Malkath, Horimus, or Hermaeus, or Hormaeus, or Herma, there seems to be no one accepted spelling, Mora, Namia, Jiglig, Nocturnal, Mehrunes Dagon, and Perite. From my experience, Daedra are a very mixed lot. It is almost impossible to categorize them as a whole except for their immense power and penchant for extremism. Be that as it may, I have attempted to do so in the first few cases purely for the sake of scholastic expediency. Mehrunes Dagon, Molag Bal, Perite, Boethia, and Vermea are among the most consistently demonic of the Daedra, in the sense that their spheres seem to be destructive in nature. The other Daedra can, of course, be equally dangerous, but seldom purely for the sake of destruction, as these 5 can. Nor are these previous 5 identical in their destructiveness. Mehrunes Dagon seems to prefer natural disasters, earthquakes and volcanoes, for venting his anger. Molag Bal elects the employment of other Daedra, and Boethia inspires the arms of mortal warriors. Perite's sphere seems to be pestilence, and Vernimia's torture. In preparation for the next installment in this series, it looks like there's a difference between the written... There's a difference between the two texts that I have. Summoning Daedra is not a difficult proposition, but it is an unusual and expensive one. Most mages' guilds have a summoning room, but this is most often reserved for the highest echelon of guild members. Witches' covens are much less class-sensitive, and the necromancers, the Dark Brotherhood, and many secretive kings and queens of Tamriel have private summoning rooms. Daedra princes usually demand some sort of service of those who summon them, though I am fortunate enough to have good relations with some and need not perform. In preparation for the second chapter of this series, I will be investigating 2 matters that have intrigued me since I have begun my career as a Daedra researcher. The first is one particular Daedra prince, referred to in multiple articles of Incubabula as Hircine. Hircine has been called the huntsman of the princes and the father of man-beasts, but I have yet to find anyone who can summon him. The other, and more doubtful goal for the next chapter, is of practical means for mortal men to pass through to oblivion. It has always been my philosophy that we only need fear that which we do not understand, and that with that thought in mind, I pursue my goal.
So there is similarity with the other record that I had, but... Let's see if on Oblivion is the same. Interesting. I would, of course, love to read all of these, but I have a mission to complete. I'm mostly just trying to see if there's anything else that might be related to some of my interests. If I can find out how to summon Daedra, that will be of particular interest.
Well done, Caius. Those thieves didn't stand a chance against you. Here, take this turquoise. It's really the least that we can do. I've appealed to the Fighters Guild, but they apparently have their hands too full rescuing high-born damsels and lads in distress to bother themselves with low-born child's disappearance. But my Tristroyan Woodsfield is all I have. Please, you'll find him for you, won't you, my friend?
Yes, I will.
Thank you, thank you. I can give you 409 gold pieces if you find my Tristroyan Woodfield. That's all I have. Now, these orcs that took him are the ones who are camped out and stinking the Asgaroth web. I need to know whether Tristroyan Woodfield is all right in 50 days, or I'll send someone else. Please don't reduce me to that. Oblivion go with you, good Caius.
Whoa! I forgot to save too. I'm an idiot. Oh, that's so bad. I'll just open and deposit the books. I'm not sure if they have any effects on my stats, so I will make sure that I actually open each of the files. Apparently I can't read the books anymore. That's so odd. Need to wait the 1 minute.
Well done, Caius. Those thieves didn't stand a chance against you. Take this turquoise. It's really the least we can do. My name is Theodval Kingling. My master asked me to find a brave adventurer for a dangerous mission. I cannot tell you more, other than to say that it is worth 500 gold pieces to whoever succeeds. Are you interested?
I am.
Ask for Lyceria Copperford at the Bat and Wolf, and she will have a job for you.
Very well. Can I read books yet? Nope.
You and the trainer practice for 3 hours. The trainer tells you to reflect on what you've learned and see if you can put it to good use.
Gonna guess nobody will want to talk to me. I didn't get the names of the taverns yet, so this might be a bit of a wait. Dungeon's a bold name for a tavern. Toad and the wolf. Competition in the wolf space, I see.
Know me for who I really am. I am your mortal enemy, Balas. I have a special fate in store for you.
Uh-oh.
Balas is dead. Your enemies will think twice before attempting such treachery again.
Got a bit lucky there. I'm thinking probably go to the, Fighters Guild, maybe make a stop to see if I can get any special items. Oh, we'll go to the pawnbrokers to see if I can sell anything. I could probably do with a little bit of a rest. You know what? Not worth waiting. These I might be willing to wait for. That is so upsetting. My horse now has 8 legs.
Incense and soft music soothe your nerves as you cross the threshold. Each item in the shop is carefully mounted and displayed. Not the slightest defect can be detected on any item within.
Oh, hello. Yes. $53,000 is a lot, but that is a very solid. It's something that lines up with my stats quite well, so. I am also completely willing to steal it if I have to. 27 for my hard work, great.
Smuggling is a nasty word, isn't it? I prefer to say that I need some legally ambiguous stuff brought to a place where some elements will welcome it, and others, the law specifically, will not. Interested?
I am not. I do not have enough money. Oh, Jesus, they actually want me to calculate the fee. Honestly, I need to do some work. Probably could have sold the mithril longsword now that I think of it, but I still have it, or I have it now, so I'll keep it. So the reason I'm not going the 1 hour over is I'm trying to make sure that I do as many activities that increase my wealth as quickly as possible. Though of course it does mean that I have to put up with this sound. Wait, I thought I finished the quest. These are also different books. I'm assuming I can't train again. Alright, well, let's double check that I don't have anything else waiting for me for the quest. least use the opportunity to go and rest up at the Fighters Guild. Maybe get a quest from them.
I'm Alabaster Hawking, and I need the services of a hunter of men. I am in love with Ysora Gerwing. Alas, she refuses to marry unless I prove my worthiness by answering a riddle her mentor, Perorin Woodhouse, left behind when he vanished. I need you to find him, and find the answer to his riddle. I will pay you 650 gold pieces if you succeed.
Why not?
The only person who might help you find Perorin Woodhouse is Ysora Gerwing. She can be found in the town found in Grimhope. Take these flowers. They are her favorites. They may gain you some favor with her. Here is a letter with Perorin Woodhouse's riddle inscribed upon it. If you've not returned in 3 months, I will assume that you have failed. Speak not of love or hate, but tell me this. What gift can you give to me that I can never buy for myself?
So I have 3 months. What I'm gonna do here is also get something from the Fighters Guild. Howdy, Caius. You got a few days free? Job came in for some giant killing, and I thought of you. Interested? I am.
Right, seems as a giant moved back into the Druloten nest a while back and has been having a fine old time feasting on Bedstair Ashcroft's sheep in the area. And a few of the local villagers too, I guess, but old Bedstair Ashcroft doesn't seem so concerned about that. At any rate, he wants this giant taken care of within 31 days, and he's paying 335 gold for it. See you in a bit.
seeing as they have about a month-long time span. Well, we're done. Oh yes, I want to head back to the entrance in a bit. So one of the important things here is I want to make sure that I pay back my my loan if I can. I'm gonna go back and explore the other rooms before I get too deep in here. This is gonna be oh, that sounds like a giant. To see if there was some way I could access that other room. My whole plan of an ordered exploration just died, so the mithril flail is tempting. I might have to drop it for something else, but I'm gonna try and take high value items to sell for later. Again, similar logic with the adamantium saber. It should be worth something when I sell it, so... Wow. Right then. reason for me. So people are clearly responding to me. People are clearly responding to me moving through the area because you can hear them opening doors. We already have Banker's Pet. But I'm not able to find where they're coming from. Be doing okay for money by the end of the 2 quests. Be nice if I can find a way of depositing the money in between, but we'll see if it works. Although I suppose I'm going to be going to a town for the next part so I can sell off my things there. Clearly something through here, but gonna have to find another way of getting there. Just to drop off the weapons. Especially because this place looks like it's going to be a bit of a maze. Yeah, I'm leaving this for now. obvious reasons. Before I go through any of the other areas, let's try something a little simpler. This one's a little bit harder to get a read on because in one sense I just need to take out the giant, but in the other sense I want to try and collect as much money as I can. No, this is fun. Where are your clothes? I have no idea why they do locked rooms like this. Quite the throne room. Should head back because there's other things I want to check in that area, but I want to try and find a natural breaking spot. That looks like a natural breaking spot. That's very amusing. Uh-oh.
Like oblivion, you're here. I was on my way to the market yesterday when the giant carried me off along with 4 other merchants I'm traveling with. I've already ate them. I guess it was saving me for later. Will you please help me get out of this place? I'll never make it on my own.
Yes.
You're a true hero. Let me introduce myself. I'm Bedsteer Hearthson of Midham. I was on my way to the first-class wares in Cathmont. If you could drop me off there, I'd forever be in your debt.
All right. Now I just need to make sure I don't die of poisoning. Oh, and I don't have the mana to deal with.
The giant roars in pain. You hear the sound of heavy footsteps coming towards you. Perhaps the giant invited a few friends over for dinner.
No way. Oh, Jesus. It's the poison. All right, well, I think I might have to, I'm so weak. Look at those stats. I want to try and get him out of there before I, That's just to make it easier to loot after. Later. Oh, come on. Whoa, 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 whoa. There's a difference between a poison and a disease. Good as new. luck. It is worth noting that I'm already running into some situations where I can't actually pick everything up. So I might want to make this my last little bit of exploration before I go back to the wagon. And at this point, it's probably worth more to turn in some of these quests than it is for me to try and pick up any more items. Well, it would have been a fun fight if they would have showed up. I should have cast my recall spell. I don't exactly remember my way back. I think I know it, but... this will complicate it. She wasn't there before. Okay. Alright, first things first, we'll clear up some inventory space. Cathford. First class wares. Now these people probably won't talk to me, but... Oh. That'll make them angry. these are all places I want to check out, but alright then. It's pretty unlikely I'm gonna find better weapons here, but so the challenge here is that it's not giving me the right directions. I'm looking for first class wares, which doesn't exist. Sure.
Blessings upon you, Caius. I travel light, so I'm ready to go. I know you don't work for free. Take me to the Garing residence and Rip Market, and I'll pay you 577 gold when we get there. Well, I had work, but I hired the Fighters Guild to do it.
Okay. This is absolute madness. So apparently there's no place for me to drop this guy off.
Stand aside, Dark Elf. Edwick Woodton is wanted by the Dark Brotherhood. Are you such a fool as to try to protect him, are you? Ha! I hired this Dark Elf to protect me from this. Caius, are you going to turn me over? No. Have it your way. Kill them both.
More poison, great. I think I'll just turn in what I can and then see if I can figure out what's going on with this guy later. Well, before I do that, maybe I'll try the remaining areas. See that? I don't think I've got enough for a heal. We'll see. I do. It's a bit of a wait, but it might be worth it. Yeah, unless I can find something more fitting. I mean, I'll get the names of the last taverns, I guess, just in case, but I think I'll just carry on with the rest of my duties and then come back here. Shockingly, none of the... Oh, actually, there's one more thing I can do. It's Cathmont, not Cath Fort. Alright, well, first things first. Somebody's doing that. Southwest. Good to know. How much sure that the guards are gonna do absolutely nothing about me being attacked. Can find an open store or a tavern, this will be great for narrowing it down. Let me talk. Oh, Jesus, not even the guards. All right. Oh, I'd love to, but... Ah. Someone's gonna come and kill me. North, that doesn't help us at all. All that tells us is we went too far. They love to take all these jobs, they just can't. That can't be right. The reason I stay on my horse like this is to stop from going into all of the buildings.
Ah, the Gehring residence. You have fulfilled your part of the bargain. Here's the gold I promised you.
Alright, fortunately there's only one store in town.
I've enjoyed your company, Caius, and you saved my life. I won't forget it.
Yeah, but what about the money? Still hated. Alright, now to Grim Up. We'll start at the tavern. Yes, that's a lot of money.
Thank Oblivion. You don't know how much this means to me. Here's your gold. Now take this to Mordier Wickfield in Singbrone. He'll pay you the rest. I really must be going now. Thank you so much.
was gonna ask him for directions. Apparently there's no way I'm gonna be able to. Wonder if I can get a cure disease and a cure poison potion. It was too polite. It says go south, but it doesn't say anything more precise, so I'm just gonna try the different stores. Unless, of course, they were in that tavern. Sure. Another duel works for me. Although again, I cut myself off from another source of information.
You're Tristram Greencroft? You must be looking for the other person named Alberic Greensley. Real tough spells for it. You'll find him in the Woodfield residence. Good luck. I hope you win.
Oh God, who am I looking for again? I probably made him mess that up. Keep going south, he says. field residence is northwest, so that gives me an alternative if I get tired of this. Northeast, all right. It's gotta be one of these buildings then. I've asked him enough. I'll try the other, I'll try and find my dual location before I go any further. I don't remember if it was in northeast or northwest. Southwest. South and southwest, all right. Okay, so northwest and northeast. just trying to reduce the number of things that I need to do. North. Okay. So I should be looking somewhere along this line. I'm pretty sure the odd merchandise is where this character is. But for now, I'm gonna check north for the fight.
You're in the Woodfield residence, where Ableric Greensley said he would meet you.
Uh-oh. I made them fall through the world. Yep, well that won't do. This is gonna be tricky.
In the guise of Tristoran Greencroft, you have slain a spell sword in the guise of Aberlet Greensley. You have merely returned to your employer, and honor is restored.
I also need to remember which location. Emperor's provisions. Excellent.
Honor is restored, eh, my fine dark elf? Here's your 597 gold pieces. And now I should go visit dear Elvira Hawkhouse and tell her of the ordeal, with certain alterations to the facts, of course.
Nonsense. here somewhere. The odd merchandise. Does this mean I was right all along?
The yellow flowers were not really necessary. Piran Woodhouse left to study under famous teacher Barbara Hawkfield in Mercaster. If you give her this book, she may look upon you favorably. The Real Baronziah. 500 years ago, in Mournhold, City of Gems, there lived a blind window woman and her only child, a strapping young man. He was a miner, as was his father before him, a common laborer in the king's mines, for his magicka ability was but small. His work was honorable, but poorly paid. His mother made and sold small Weldenberry cakes in the market to help eke out their living. They did well enough, his mother said. They had enough to fill their bellies, no one could wear more than one suit of clothing at a time, and the roof only leaked when it rained. Symmachus would have liked more. He hoped for a lucky strike in the mines, which would garner him a large bonus. In his free hours, he enjoyed hoisting a glass of ale in the tavern with his friends and gambling with them at cards, and he drew the eyes and sighs of more than one pretty elven girl, although none held his interest for long. In short, Symmachus was a typical young dark elf man, remarkable only for his size. It was rumored that he had a bit of Nord blood in him. In Symmachus' 30th year, there was great rejoicing in Mournhold, for a girl child was born to their lord and lady. A queen, the people sang. A queen is born to us. For among the people of Mournhold, the birth of a female heir is a sure sign of peace and prosperity to come. When the time came for the royal child's rite of naming, the mines were closed and Symmachus rushed home to bathe and dressed his best. "I'll come straight home and I'll tell you about it," he promised his mother, who was not to attend. She had been ailing. Besides, there would be a great crush of people, as all Mournhold would be there, and being blind, she would be unable to see anything anyway. "My son," she said, "ere you go, fetch me a priest or a healer, else I may pass from this mortal plane ere you return." Symmachus crossed her bed at once and noted anxiously that her head was very hot and her breathing shallow. He pried up a loose floorboard where they kept their small hoard of savings. There wasn't nearly enough to pay for a priest or for healing. He would have to give what they had and owe the rest. Symmachus snatched up his cloak and rushed away. The streets were full of folk hurrying to the sacred grove, but the mage guild and the temples were locked and barred. "Closed for the ceremony," read the signs. Symmachus elbowed his way through the crowd and managed to overtake a brown-robed monk. "After the rite, brother," the monk said. "If you have gold, I shall gladly attend to your mother. My lord has bade all clerics to attend, and I shall not offend him." "My mother's desperately ill," Symmachus pled. "Surely my lord will not miss just one lowly monk." "The Father Abbot will," the monk said nervously, tearing his robe.
I can't find this right now.
Symmachus tried other monks and mages too, but with no better result. Armored guards came through the street and pushed him aside with their lances, and Symmachus realized the royal procession was approaching. As the royal carriage drew abreast, Symmachus rushed out from the crowd and shouted, "My lord, my mother's dying!" "I forbid her to do so on this glorious night," the lord shouted, laughing and scattering coin into the throng. Symmachus was close enough to smell wine on the royal breath. On the other side of the carriage, his lady clutched her babe at her breast and stared wide-eyed at Symmachus. Her nostrils flared in disdain. "Guards!" she cried. "Remove this oaf!" Rough hands seized Symmachus. He was beaten and left dazed by the side of the road. Symmachus, head aching, followed in the wake of the crowd and watched the rite of naming from the top of the hill. He could see the brown-robed clerics and blue-robed mages gathered near the royal folk far below. Baranziah, the name came dim to Symmachus's ears as the high priest lifted the naked babe and showed her to the twin moons on either side of the horizon. Joan rising, Jode setting. Behold the Lady Baranziah, born to rule of Mournhold. Grant her thy blessings and thy counsel ever, that she rule to Mournhold's wheel. Blessings, blessings, all the people murmured with their lord and lady, hands upraised. Only Symmachus stood silent, head bowed, knowing in his heart that his dear mother was gone. And in his silence he swore a mighty oath, that he should be his lord's bane, and in vengeance for his mother's needless death, the child Baranziah he would have as his own bride, that his mother's grandchildren should be born to rule Mournhold. After the ceremony, he watched impassively as the royal procession returned to the palace. He saw the monk to whom he'd spoken first. The man came gladly enough now in return for the gold Symmachus had, and a promise for more later. They found his mother dead, as he had feared. The monk sighed and tucked the bag away. "I'm sorry, brother. Well, you can forget the rest of the gold, as there's naught I can do here. Likely—" "Give me back my gold," Symmachus snared. "You've done naught to earn it." He lifted his right arm threateningly. The priest backed away, beginning a curse, but Symmachus struck him before more than 3 words had left his mouth. He went down heavily, striking his head sharply on one of the stones that formed the fire pit, and died instantly. Symmachus took the gold back and fled the city, muttering the name Baranziah. The child Baranziah stood on the upper balcony of the palace, staring down into the courtyard where soldiers milled, splendid in their armor. Presently they formed into ordered ranks and cheered as her parents, the lord and lady, emerged from the palace, clad head to toe in ebony armor, long purple-dyed fur cloaks flowing behind. Splendidly caparisoned shining black horses were brought for them, and they mounted and rode the courtyard gates, and then they turned to salute her. "Baranziah," they cried. "Baranziah, farewell." The little girl blinked back tears and waved bravely with one hand to her favorite stuffed toy animal, a gray wolf cub she called Woofin, clutched at her breast with the other. She had never been parted from her parents before, and had no idea what it meant, save that there was war in the west, and something or other. The names Tiber Septim and Symmachus were on everyone's lips, spoken with hate and dread. "Baranziah," the soldiers cried, lifting their lances and swords and bows. Then her dear parents turned and rode away, soldiers trailing in their wake until the palace was near emptied. Some time after came a day when Baranziah was shaken awake by her nurse, dressed hurriedly, and carried from the palace. All she remembered of that dreadful time was seeing a huge shadow with burning eyes that had filled the sky. She was passed from hand to hand. Foreign soldiers appeared. Her nurse vanished and was replaced by strangers, some more strange than others. There were days, or was it weeks, of travel. One morning she woke to step from the coach into the cold palace, with a large gray stone house set up amid the endless empty gray-green and hills patchily covered with gray-white snow. She clutched Woofin to her breast with both hands and stood blinking and shivering in the gray dawn, feeling very small and very black in this endless space of gray-white space. The large gray-white woman was staring at her with dreadful bright blue eyes. "She's very black, isn't she?" the woman remarked to her companion, a brown-skinned, black-haired woman named Hannah, who had been traveling with Baranziah for several days. "I've never seen a dark elf before." "Don't know much about them myself," Hannah said. "This one's got red hair and a temper to match, I can tell you that. Take care, she bites, and worse." "I'll soon train her out of that," the other woman sniffed. "What's that filthy thing she's got? Ugh." The woman snatched Woofin away and cast him into the fire, blazing in the hearth. Baranziah shrieked and would have flung herself into the fire after him, but was forcibly restrained, despite her attempts to bite and claw her oppressors, while poor Woofin was reduced to a little heap of charred ash. So ends the story.
I didn't see this before.
Dear stranger, I hope you will forgive me for what I have done. I had no choice. The mummy has haunted me every night since I found this cursed finger. I've tried throwing it away, but it did no good. A learned sage advised me that only by finding the mummy's tomb or by giving the finger away could I be rid of its hateful curse. I am no warrior, and who would knowingly take up this burden for me? You look brave enough to endure the curse and perhaps solve it. Please understand, I meant you no harm, but I would have been killed or driven mad otherwise.
Ah.
I've been tricked. The supposed delivery to Mordier Wickfield was actually a cursed mummy finger.
I think I'm gonna go back to Daggerfall first. This will be a bit of a wait, especially with the clopping in the background.
Hail the giant killer. I knew you were the right one for the job. Here's 335 gold. And here's a map of Castle King House, one of the other chaps found the other day. If it was a couple of years younger, we could tear through it together, just like the old days.
Oh, won't talk to me then. Trying to see if there's a place I can buy things. I should probably go to the bank first. Otherwise it'll be closed. Alright, the debt has been paid. Doesn't leave me a whole lot left, but actually, that's just too much. So the aim here is just to get another round of training in at the Mages Guild. Although while I'm at it, I'll see if I can stop by I'll stop by the pawnbrokers to see if there's anything else I can sell. I can't remember if I cleared that out or not. I should have brought more. I'm not going to be able to identify the mark. Mark of fortitude, fair enough. I think I've doubled up my fortitude now. Oh, I didn't know I had but my intelligence has gone down for some reason. We now go to Mercaster. I'm sick. No, apparently not. Oh, it's the mummy's curse, almost certainly.
Malicious, downright libelous rumors about me must cease and desist immediately. I need someone anonymous to trace these rumors back to their infernal source. Would 539 gold pieces be enough to buy your investigative skills in this matter?
Yes, they would.
You will? Excellent. Come back when you have some proof of who's behind these nasty rumors about me. I'll give you the gold then. If you're not back within a month, I'll assume that you've failed.
Doesn't give me a lot to go with.
This is all I know. Tristane Woodford knows about such things. Go ask him.
Yeah, people not talking to me is a really big problem now. Southeast, alright. Alright. This at least gives me some things to work with. Excellent. I'm gonna keep going south until I find the bookstore. This is probably a little too south. I'll try visiting some of the inns, but I might need to come back to the city to find out about the rumors.
Purian Woodhouse asked me not to reveal his whereabouts to strangers. However, since you bring the real Baron Zaya from Ysora Gerwing, you are clearly not just some stranger. Purian Woodhouse secluded himself in a dungeon to study arcane lore. I have marked the location on your map. Good luck, Caius.
No, I was hoping to ask. There we go. Maybe I'll just try all the different taverns.
Thieves Guild has taken my dearest Victoria Masterson away from me, and now they're demanding a ransom. I need someone to bring my lover back to me. Is there any way they can? Please, will you help me?
I can't say no to that.
Thank Oblivion. Here's the turquoise the kidnappers want for ransom. If you can find a way to rescue Victoria Masterson without paying the ransom, I would be very grateful. After buying that gem, my savings are almost entirely gone. You can, of course, have 17 gold. Have 17 gold once Victoria Masterson is returned. That will make my life savings gone entirely, but it'll be worth it. If the ransom must be paid, be sure to take no more than 19 days to do it. The kidnappers have an agent in the Green Priest over in Longmarket Garden, a blonde-bearded man named Tristester Buckington. Once 19 days have passed, he will send word to his friends wherever they're keeping Victoria Masterson, and they'll kill her. Please don't let that happen. Good luck, friend.
And I lose my ability to talk to people again. Alright, there is quite a bit to do, but I think we will leave it at that. Next week we will investigate the curse of the mummy, we will rescue the young woman, we'll try and find out who is spreading rumors, and we'll see if we can advance within the Mages Guild. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you 1 week from now.